Well, this is my last installment. It's about the printing of items and the 3 steps that you need to do to get an object. The first one is design it, second one is slice it, and the third one is actually get it to the 3D printer and print it. So we'll start with the design phase, and the best thing to do is go onto the internet and download 123 Design. It's free. It's by Autodesk. Takes a bit of getting used to, but it is easy. It's a bit quirky in places, but it is very good. So the first thing you'll want to print is, I'm guessing, some spool hubs for a spool of filament to make it feed into the extruder head nicely. So this is the workspace. Here there's a navigation thing, and we want actually a top view to look at this in the plan view. You go top view. We just draw a freehand circle. So circle. We'll make this 9mm. You can see in the box it's waiting for an input, so we've got 9mm there. Press enter. Whoops. Press enter. And enter again. So that's going to be the hole in the middle. The spools have got a 54mm hole in them, or the spools I have. So we shall need a 54mm projection. Again, draw on this surface, center there, and we want it 54. Enter and enter. And then for the outside bit to actually sit on this spool face, just make 190. So on that surface, there you go, we'll make this one 90. That's it. So all you have at the minute is a flat 2D drawing. So the first thing to do is extrude these out. We'll make this one 5mm, this one 15mm, so it sticks out 10, and we'll make this one a hole. So that's the plan. So you click until it goes green. Yeah, I think we'll do that one first. Extrude a new solid, and we'll extrude it 5mm. So we'll just type in here 5. That's that done, and you see now we've got a 5mm thick disc. So the trick now is to select that one, and the difficulty is you're trying to select it through this solid. So go around the back, and select it, extrude, it's a new solid, we're going to make it and before you click enter, just put new solid, otherwise it defaults to making a hole, and enter again. So now there you go. All we have to do now is make a hole. So we select that one, extrude it, and that's going to be, well, you can make anything with freehand really. And make sure it's subtract, and we'll extend it that way. Enter. And it's not actually a hole. It might be. You hide your sketches, yes. So there you are, there's a little spool holder. So that's the end of the model, the design phase. What you have to do now is export it as an STL file. This is what the slicing program is taking. So we'll save that, fine, combine all the objects, okay, and it says call it a spool demo. That's it, you can close this program down. I'm finished with that now. So the next stage is use the Cura software that came with the printer. It will ask you, probably there is a newer version, you can immediately upgrade to that. First step is pick a printer, make sure we're talking to the right machine. And in actual fact, it's the Mendel that you need, so that'd be nice. The file that you want is that STL file that we just made, which was spool demo. And there it is. And again, you can solve it in 3D. The checkered space is your bed, so you can actually move it around, and it depends where you want to print it on your bed. So that's it. The next thing is already telling you that with these settings, it's going to take 1 hour 27 minutes, 10 meters of filament, and 31 grams. All the settings, that's something you have to play with and find out what they all do and what's best for you. This was obviously the default for this machine, and there is some more ones here, some advanced settings. What I've found works is, and there is some helpful tips here that come in. If you're just doing rough work, for this thing it doesn't have to be pretty particularly. You can stick with the 0.25 default. The shell thickness is the shell of the object, the outside surface, and that's 0.8. And again, it's just the what you need from it. I don't know what that does yet, so you have to play with that. Fill density, again, it's you put a percentage value in there, and it decides, because it's not solid inside, it's like a honeycomb. It saves plastic. 100% would make it totally solid, but it'd probably take forever to actually print. So just leave it at that. Print speed 70. Yep. What I've found is if you're using the PLA, use the higher temperature than the minimum that's recommended on the spool. This is pretty close to the maximum. And I've also found that if you put the Bakelite sheet onto the bed and cover it with masking tape and use heated bed, it actually you get a lot better stick to the bed. And also turn the fan on. So you don't want any supports, you don't need a platform. Diameter of the filament is 1.75, flow is 100, and the nozzle size is 0.4. Yeah, it's you need to play with these to find out what they actually do and what gives you the bestest solution. I've unticked the enable the cooling fan. Whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know. I did one print and it warped while it was printing and unstuck from the bed. So I just turn that off so that it'll cool down slower as you're printing, and it'll be less likely to warp. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know. So there's now you have it. What this program does is it slices the object at every 0.4 of a millimeter and works out the shape and converts it into coordinates for the printer, so the printer can understand it. So there's two ways you can actually print from here. One is you can print to an SD card. There is an SD card reader on the back of the display unit. It only uses, or it can only read 8 GB SD cards. It can't read them if they're any greater than that. So you may have to go out and buy an 8 GB SD card. And if that's the route you're going, you just save G-code, SD card, and you can see it's going to be G-code. Save it. It now tells you that it takes 1 hour 27 minutes to print 10 meters and 31 grams. So you're done. That's it now. You can quit out of there. If we look at the card, there's the G-code. So we'll pop that in the printer and print it out. If you decide not to use an SD card, you're going to have to connect to the printer with the USB lead. So if we just load that up again. And at that point, instead of saving the G-code, and at this point you select print. Yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. It's operational print, cancel. You may have to select connect and choose a baud rate. Try auto first, and then just cycle through all the possibilities until it actually does connect. As soon as you press print, it's now telling the printer to print, and what it will do is it should start, it's heating up the bed now, and then it will heat up the nozzle to these temperatures here. Once that's achieved, it will actually start printing. And that's it, job done. Of course, you have to stay, you have to leave this open all the time while it's printing. You connect it to the thing with the USB. And once it's finished printing, you can close this piece of software. So I'll cancel that. And that's that done. What I'll do now is show you what happens when you print with the SD card. Okay, so if you're printing with the SD card, we've got the spool holder on the SD card. That's on the screen. It's just cooling down because I've preheated it. There's no card in at the moment, so we'll just slot the card in. As you can see, it says card inserted. So we'll just press print from SD card. Choose our spool demo G-code, press, and it says bed heating. What you have to do now is immediately go press and go tune, because now you have to set the temperatures that you're going to print at. First one is the print speed, and again you'll find a nice speed that you want to print at. I've found 60-70 is about right. The nozzle temperature 210, but that's just what I've found to be okay. Bed at 70, that's okay. The fan I've found, leave it off. I will experiment to see if that makes a difference. And the flow is 100. We'll come back to that as soon as we go back up to the main menu. So that's it. Back to the main info screen. You can now see it's set at 208 for the nozzle, 70 for the bed. The FR, the flow, for some reason it's 68. On this screen, when you turn the knob, it actually changes that, so that wants to be 100. That's the flow of filament, I'm guessing. It needs to be 100. There you are. As soon as it hits 210 and 70, it'll start printing, and that's it. You're done.